So after a lengthy delay, some 35 minutes for some technical problems, we are at last ready to get underway with the women's synchronized 10-meter platform. There are 5 pairings, there will be 2 from Malaysia, and we're starting with Canada and Meaghan, Benfeito, Roseline, Filion.
Well, the Canadians obviously not faltering under all the delays and all the shenanigans. Composed, always, these girls always have a smile on their face. Inward dive in the pike position. That is superb synchronization. Beautiful execution from both divers, hitting the water exactly the same time, moving through, minimal splash on the entry. It's all about consistency. There we go. So I don't know what's happened with the technical delay. They're definitely
right. So we think 53.40 are 9s and 8.5s. Cheong and Leong are Malaysia.
So this is the pair to watch. These were the silver medalists only 1.5 weeks ago in Shanghai. Young and Mun, fantastic pairing. So opting for the reverse dive, so jumping away from the diving board, pike position, so folding at the hips, touching the toes. Look at that beautiful synchronization there. What are they? Marginally different distances from the diving board. That will mean the synchronization marks will be slightly lower, maybe only 8s, 8.5s on synchro because of that discrepancy. So they'll be just behind the Canadians. Canadians' opening round dive was excellent. Let's see what we've got.
Well, it looks like 49.8.
There we go.
49.8 it is. 8.5 and 8. Execution on the left, synchronization on the right. Slightly different from the individual. And silver medalist from last time around in Delhi. Pandelela, Pamg and Sabri just turned 14 years of age.
Oh, that's probably equally as good as their teammates who've just gone before them. Exactly the same dive, the reverse dive in the piked position. So swinging the arms together, beautiful pike shape, in and out of the, slightly different movement on the arms there. Marginally over in the entry into the water there, Pandelela to the left of the screen. What are we going to get for synchro? 8.5s on the synchro, I think, on this one. Execution is still very good. There'll be much to give, certainly over these 2 rounds. Getting the feedback there from the coaches.
The marks are just coming up on our computer, so hopefully you'll get them on the screen very shortly. Remember the first Malaysian pair, 49.80. And the second pair, we know, but I don't want to spoil the surprise for you. 49.20, so execution marks that count 8 and 8.5 and 8 and 8.5 on the synchronization. Silvers for them this year in Windsor, Canada and in London. Here comes their reverse dive for Barrow and Couch.
Oh, there you go. That's the best opening dive so far. The Canadians opening up this competition with a superb inward dive. That is the best of what the reverse dives we've seen so far. Malaysia 1, Malaysia 2, opting for reverse dive. Team England, Sarah Barrow, Tonia coach, bang on synchronization. That's got to be 9, 9.5s on synchronization, 8, 8.5s at least on execution. So, will that be enough to top the leaderboard after round 1? I hope it will be. If it isn't, they will be very, very, very tight with the Canadians.
They are just behind the Canadians, but that's a good start. They're happy with it. Big smiles from Tonia and Sarah, 52.80. Here is a very experienced Melissa Wu. Came on the scene in her early teens, partnering Rachel Bugg. They're going with the reverse dive to start.
Oh, no one giving anything away, as you would expect. I did tee this up as a very, very close contest. And after round 1, there is nothing between these 5 teams. There we are, Melissa Wu closest to us, Rachel Bugg furthest away. Superb synchronization. On a par with Team England, with Barrow and Couch just before them. Beautifully executed, superb synchronization. Wow, there's going to be hardly anything. I guess, you know, Canadians, English and Australians very, very close. 52s, 53s, and then Team Malaysia 1 and 2, both on 49. Nothing between them all.
There are the marks for the Australians in their opening dive. Everybody doing the same dives, not necessarily in the same order. The degree of difficulty only 2.0, so not much margin to open up a big advantage.
Well, second round dive there from the Canadians. That was the reverse dive in the pike position. They're choosing to use this dive second. Now, That wasn't quite as good as their opening reverse dive. Technically and synchronization-wise, they're pretty good on the money. But you see here, a little bit of splash being thrown up, certainly by Roseline, who's left of screen now. So that will mean the execution mark will be slightly lower for her. It's solid, as you would expect. Not quite as good as their first round dive. 50 points maybe, yes. Okay,
yeah, almost
the
bang
marker.
on the money there. 50.40 for Benfeito and Filion, the first round leaders, with pretty much 8.5s across the board, both execution and synchronization. Here comes the back dive.
A beautiful dive. That's even better than their reverse dive they decided to open with. Exact distances from the diving board, perfect height, in sync all the way through, touching the toes, arm movement at the same time, entries into the water, same distance from the diving board, same entry, timing into the water, 9.5s on Synchro coming their way, 52-ish probably. Wow, there you go, that'll squeeze them with the Canadians.
Yeah, they've closed the gap. And silver medalist from 4 years ago, Pandelela Pamg, with the youngster.
Oh, very good from Pandelela, furthest from us to the right of the screen there. Superb execution, 9.5 coming her way. Her younger partner closest to us, faltering marginally on the execution. See, they're moving the arms at different times. Fractionally different distances from the diving board. Now I'm being quite picky here because this is what the judges are going to do.
Yeah, you can see that, 7.5s, don't really cut it. She's getting 8.5s and 9s, you're losing ground, and they are losing ground with that. This is the graceful 2.0 of a back dive for Sarah Barrow and Tonia Couch.
Oh, hello Team England. They are unfaltering. Wow, this is exactly what you want to be doing. First 2 rounds, limited degree of difficulty. These girls have been working hard. They've been the nearly girls, as Helen referred to them as earlier. Now, will today be their day? They've put themselves in a perfect position. They are going to be, if not top of the leaderboard, they're going to be squeezing hoses in front. 3 dives to go for the girls, Team England.
These are the ones they have to do before we get to the ones they select, which has put England in front so far, ahead of Canada and Malaysia, with just the Australians to go round 2. So England could be no worse than second at the end of round 2. This is Rachel Bugg and Melissa Wu going with their back dive.
Oh, it's good, but it isn't as good as what we've seen from Team Canada and Team England. The Australians will find themselves middle of the pack, 3rd or 4th. Maybe they'll split the Malaysian teams. Melissa Wu, who's right at the screen there, is a little bit further away from the diving board than her partner, Rachel Bugg. So that means Australia will probably go into 4th. The high degree of difficulty starts to play a factor.
5 rounds gone, Sarah Barrow and Tonia Couch, 105. Very tight with them and the Canadians, and then Malaysia 1 in 3. Round 3, starting with Meaghan, Benfeito and Roseline Filion of Canada, 2nd place.
Oh, it's good synchronization, superb takeoff exactly the same time. Spin speeds are ideal. Look at this, forward 3.5 somersaults. But where do we go on the entries into the water? Both divers over-rotating slightly. That means the execution marks will be down in maybe the 6.5s, but because of the excellent synchronization...
That was pure guesswork. Sometimes he gets a sneaky peek of what the score might be. On that occasion, I can assure you he didn't know. And 65.70 of the selections, which is a forward 3.5 somersaults with Pike. And they're currently in 3rd place.
Well, that's the kind of form that has placed them on the podium, certainly a few weeks ago in China. Beautiful synchronization. Synchronization is going to be 8s and 8.5s. We see here the girls taking off. Beautiful leg line, beautiful pike shape. Just a little bit of over-rotation on the execution sides they go in. So very, very similar to Team Canada that performed exactly the same dive just before them. Mid-60s.
0.80. So slightly behind the Canadian score, but not by a great deal. 3 7.5s count on the synchronization. A young colleague just 14 years of age, Noor Sabri.
Oh, that's great execution, but we can clearly see the younger diver, Sabri, a little bit further away from the diving board than her more experienced partner, Pandelela. Spin speeds are off, distances from the diving board are off, so the execution has improved.
61.2, total mark 159, so yeah, I keep saying 6.5s just don't cut it at this level. 3.2 degree of difficulty. They have 3 dives to come, 2 of which are 3.2s, including this, which is an inward 3.5 somersaults with tuck. England currently at the top of the pile.
Oh, it's good. It is very good. I was watching this in training the other day and they were having some difficulties with it. This is their toughest dive. If there is one that could go wrong, it might have been this one. I'm pleased to say 3.2. Spin speeds are bang on. Edges into the water are good. Execute.
6.5 and a 7. 3 7s on Synchro. So we're on with this. 4 3.5 somersaults with pike. 3.0 degree of difficulty. 72 will put the Australians ahead of England after 3 rounds.
Well, is that the Aussies making their move, both short and vertical as they enter the water. The Synchro is good. This is only 3.0, the same dive as we've seen from the Canadians and both Malaysians. The English girls will be using this next round. Well, no one giving anything away, but no one really. Both Tonia and Sarah would have been hoping for better synchronization marks. Judges are being quite tight. They're not giving anything away. Okay, this is how it's going to be. Fair enough.
Couple of silver medals at the World Series as well. This is their back 3.5 somersaults worth 3.3.
Oh, that could prove to be decisive. It is a gamble. As Bob mentioned, 3.3. There's a lot that could go wrong. The synchronization is good. The execution is off. Takeoffs are good. Here we go. Spinning backwards 3.5 times. Spin speeds are good. And then just here, faltering in.
From the water's edge, because that is not what they had in mind. 5.5 and 6.5 in execution. And deal 5 are in contention to win gold too. So, Cheong on the Malaysia first, the 2 Malaysian pairs back to back. 3.2 on this one, in with 3.5 somersaults for Malaysia 1. We're currently 3rd.
Oh, so now this is not the quality of competition that it could have been. Everyone is diving well, but no one is diving exceptionally well. So someone needs to step up. Who will it be? Team 1 from Malaysia, Leong and Mun, the silver medalist from Shanghai, faltering. Both of them means, yeah, okay, it is super, super tight.
Nobody's hitting the 70s yet, and there's a single 70 mark in 2012 in London. And here they go with their inward 3.5 somersaults with tuck at the bottom of the field at the moment, 3.2, but that can all change if they get this right.
Oh, that's the best effort so far on this round. All important already from many of the other pairs. All of the other pairs so far. The Australians still to come in this round. That's the tidiest. That's the best one.
First pair to get into the 70s, 70.08. So, big venue. This is their forward 3.5 somersaults with pike. You want to see them in the 70s. If they get there, they'll retain that lead.
Yes, it's good. Execution is good. Marginally different distances from the diving board. That will be costly on the synchronization. Sarah is a little bit further away from the diving board, so spin speeds are good, but as you can see there, Sarah furthest away from us. Clearly you could drive a bus through that gap. The judges are probably what the judges think.
Oh, not a 70. Not a 70. That was my kind of
okay.
Melissa Wu, one of the most experienced in the field, with Rachel Bugg. They're going for their 3.2 in with 3.5 somersaults. And again, for 70 plus, if they can do that, they will advance up the standings.
No, they won't be getting anywhere near 70. Rachel Bugg, furthest from us, has been having trouble with that in training. That is one of her better efforts, but from an execution point of view, she leaves the dive very, very short of vertical. You can see there, Melissa closest to us completing the dive very effortlessly. Rachel Bugg short of vertical. That could be Aussies out. Let's wait and see. Wow.
Yeah, look at that. 57.60. Look at that. 4.5 execution on the left.
Wow.
Well, Meaghan, Benfeito and Roseline Filion and a really good year both at home and abroad. Did exceptionally well in their own World Series in Windsor, winning it, but they're way away from winning this yet. But it's in reach if they get this right. Back 2.5, 1.5 twists.
Oh, that's their staple dive. Very rarely do we see this pairing falter on this dive. 3.2, that is the best dive they've put together today. 1.5 twists, 2.5 somersaults. We're going to see this from the remaining pairs. That is bang on the money synchronization. That could get a handful of 9s, 8.5s for sure. That is going to be a big score, mid-70s, and it puts the pressure on the remaining 4 pairs.
Mid-70s and a little bit better, 76.80. 3.2, but as Leong mentioned, exact same dive, just to repeat for you. But back, 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists. Malaysia won, who are second behind England.
Oh, faltering. Now, this is interesting. The pressure gets to people in different ways. Synchronization is very good. Execution is off. The door has been opened. 1.5 twists, all looking good so far. Folding to the pike position, and then just a bit too much adrenaline. Both divers over-rotating. This will be, wow, costly, especially when it's so tight.
10.5, 5.5 really is not good. And mid-range on synchronization as well. Pandelela herself was incredibly young when she started at this level. Sabri, 14 years of age, on the left-hand side.
Oh, that's a good effort from the second Malaysia pairing. Pam, very experienced, her partner Sabri, only 14, holding it together when it counts. Here we are. We're familiar with this dive now. It's 3.2. All the girls are using it. Malaysia won, if that makes sense, but behind Canada.
Sounds like a bobsleigh, doesn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Here comes Canada 1, here comes Canada 2, here comes Malaysia 1 and 2. Well, Malaysia 2 have gone above Malaysia 1. Are you getting confused? Half as much as I am. Barrow and Couch need 72.81 to get in the lead. Anything above that should be gold for England. 72.81 on this back. 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists for Barrow and Couch.
Yes, come on, I think that's going to be good enough. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. That's good enough for the gold. Marginally faltering on the execution, but the synchronization is bang on. It's going to be really tight between Team England and Team Canada. Beautiful final dive from
69.12 has just come up, and they are in silver medal position. They've missed out on the gold by about 3.7 marks. Judges did not see it the way that we did, and the Canadians have the gold, it would seem. Here comes Wu and Bugg to finish off.
Oh, good dive from Team Australia. I think they've left themselves too much to do, but they could challenge for the bronze. It's right down to the wire. I'm pretty sure the gold is sealed up. The Canadians have got the gold. Team England have got the silver, but that could push for a bronze medal position, with currently Malaysia 2 in 3rd place. Faltering on their 4th round dive. Great 5th round dive from the Australians. Will that be 4th, or will that be a bronze medal? Right at the last thing, I think.
And have they done it? Yes, they have. Yeah, no, they haven't. No, they haven't. Not quite. 72.96 on the dive, so a few crestfallen faces they thought they had. Looking at the marks, it was being held up by the judges, but when they were inputted into computer most definitely said no from an Australian point of view. So, confirmation that Canada have won the gold in the women's synchronized 10-meter platform